I know your dad has passed away. What's your dad's name?
Alan.
Alan. And for me, my dad's my hero, and his health has not been great the last 15 years, but my dad's my hero. And I just dads matter so much. Moms do as well. My mom's a rock star as well. Is there anything specifically when it comes to your dad that you're like, this is what helped me become the man that I am, and this is something I hope to pass on? Even though I'm a girl dad, like you're a girl dad yourself, but is there things that like this is this is something as a man I took from my father?
Yeah, there's the only negative of being a dad of 4 girls is that my dad's name is not going to be passed on another generation. But there's no other negatives. The girls are amazing. My dad was just an amazing man. I mean, just a simple man, a man that really lived for his family, for his farm, for his community, and was just always so selfless. I think the best example I can give that sort of just personifies my dad is, obviously, my mom and dad got married at 18. Both went to high school in Mount Vernon, small town. I mean, they just loved each other just tremendously all the way up until my dad passed. And just to watch that, their life that they created and fought for, he gave me examples every day of what to do and how to react to mistakes he made. And to see them not only run a business together on a farm, but also to love on each other and to fight and to come, argue over how to farm something. But then at night, like, you see him making, my mom making supper and my dad coming in, and they have this moment, and like, it's just subtle. It's not a big thing, right? But you just see like, all right, that's past now, and move on and move forward together. And so I think the one thing that personifies my dad, though, I always thought about this way is, so he was a farmer. You're always looking for more land, for more animals, just another way to make a living and scratch. And there were some very lean years, certainly. But the one thing my dad would never do is if a piece of land came up for sale and it was owned by somebody that wasn't from the area, but it was farmed by somebody from the area, my dad, before he would ever even think about being able to afford to buy it, would ask that farmer who had counted on that piece of property for their livelihood, he would ask them if they wanted to buy it first before he even made a bid or would even seek something out. And at this, the mentality of like, I'm not going to climb over somebody else to get my success. And, the good ones go young, go early for a reason, I guess. Just taken from us way too soon because he had so many more examples to give. And but that was just it's one simple thing. But his reaction to that is like, I'm not going to climb on top of my neighbor, to get more successful. And I'd rather have nothing than to have it all and have done that. I think it's a good example for me of having this, get thrown in the NFL and now you're on a pedestal of you're a celebrity and you make this amount of money and you have all these things, but like, man, that just isn't who you are, right? That's just what you do. And the fact that you do something that can, make you a decent amount of money and put you on a pedestal in people's eyes, it doesn't make you a hero, right? It just gives you more people to listen to. So your reactions to things and, your leadership through those situations become more important because so many more people are watching you. So I think it's vital. And so for me, those simple things, and I'll never do the when I work with like a company or a business on like a marketing deal, I'm always like, listen, this isn't a smash and grab. This is a relationship built on, trust and honesty. And like, I want to work with you for multiple years. I don't want to just say, hey, I'm going to come do your thing for X amount of dollars. I don't want to be transactional, right? Life's about relationships. So that's certainly taken from my dad.
Yeah, no, Chad, thanks for talking about your dad. Like that, I even just asking that question, it for me is a big deal just to be able to ask it to you. And those moments you talk about when you find someone's character and integrity. A friend of mine just the other day, money makes people weird. And specifically in those moments,
it can.
That's when you find out. And I just thanks for talking about your dad. You also mentioned your wife.
There's one thing I guess. There's one before we move on, there's one other thing. The day we found out he had leukemia, it was in 2012. It was like May 21st-ish, and around that day. I mean, and I remember I drove from here to Sioux Falls. He was at the Stanford Hospital. and walk up to his room. We had a couple young kids, and we walk up, we open the door, and the first thing he said, which just hit me, is this: I guess it doesn't matter how new my tractor is now, does it? It's just like when you don't have your health, when you don't have, we don't have the basic things that, because that didn't matter to him. He had his wife that he loved, his family that he adored, his community that he always lived and been a part of. And, doesn't matter how big your tractor is or how nice your home is, or it's part of who you are, certainly, but that's not why we're here. And he just, a man in that moment had just found out he had this severe, illness that he was going to end up fighting for a couple of years before he passed. That was his immediate reaction. And I just thought, so wise,
man.
At that point, I'm 2012, so that was 11 years ago. So I'm 29. I'm 29 years old. I'm in the middle of my NFL career, raising a young family. Like, those are the moments you just never forget. And you got to live for the now and just enjoy your family and your kids, because you just don't know